As one of Nintendo's largest franchises ever, the Mario Kart series has gone through more changes than the human species, and we used to look like this. Within its long and checkered past of making changes, one specific version stands head and shoulders above all of the others as the strangest one of all. For a very good reason. Enter Mario Kart Arcade GP, an arcade-only title that was made by Bandai Namco. From the roster to the racing to the ridiculously expensive amount of transaction-based unlockables that almost nobody would ever get to see, this game was so different I can barely even call them related. And there's 3 of them. But before we learn how different they actually are, how the heck did they even come to exist? Though it wasn't technically released on a Nintendo console, Mario Kart Arcade GP runs on the Triforce Entertainment System, a machine that was made as a collaborative effort between Nintendo, Sega, and Namco, which sounds like a match made in heaven. Oh! This partnership was a win-win-win. Since the Triforce machine ran on GameCube architecture, this would aid Nintendo in creating home ports of arcade games, while Sega and Namco were allowed to create arcade games using the Nintendo IP. And thus, Mario Kart GP was born. Out of wedlock. To a different mother. So let's start off by talking about the items. Okay, never mind, let's talk about something else first. The cast in Mario Kart GP is the same roster as Mario Kart 64, with the addition of Pac-Man, my goat, the sexy Miss Pac-Man, another goat, and Blinky? Namco, you guys got other games, what are you doing here, man? You could've used the guy from Dig Dug, or the guy from the much less popular PC release of Dig Dug Deeper. I played that. 11 characters may not seem like a lot, but this is an arcade game, so nobody really cared. GP didn't feature customizable carts, so the characters themselves were stat specific. You wanted Donkey Kong with great handling? Well, too bad you're getting top speed. And now let's talk about the gameplay itself, because it's kinda strange. Beyond time trial and versus mode, there's the usual Grand Prix mode, and it functions a little bit differently. For starters, even though there's 100 unlockable items in this game, each player would choose their item loadout. Want to be confused? In Grand Prix mode, in some of the stages you can choose a loadout, and in others, you can't. Another major change that is very interesting but should never appear in an actual Mario game is the functionality of the drifting. Instead of trying to maximize your drift time in order to get an enhanced boost, in this game while in a drifting state, you get a shield that makes you impervious to other items. So it kind of emphasizes snaking, aka drifting every single second that you can. There are a total of 6 cups with 4 rounds each. The first 5 can be played at any given time by just sitting at the machine, but get this, in order to play the 6th cup, you would have to beat every other stage and challenge in the game, which at bare minimum would cost you 20 credits if you get first place every single time, which probably wasn't that much in 2005, but today 20 Mario Kart credits could probably buy you a house in most third world countries. It's scaled up. Like a Bitcoin. Since this is an arcade game, they didn't commit as many resources as an actual Mario Kart title. In turn, each cup actually features 1 stage and character theme, with 2 map variations, and then there's 2 minor variations of those. It's hard to explain, so I'll just jump into the first one and we'll review them as we go. The first cup is the Mario Cup, which takes place on Mario Highway for the first round, which is basically a giant circle. But even though it's very simple by design, you have to admit, this is really fun to look at. There's fake Mario ads in the background, some weird Mario Mount Rushmore which only has him and Luigi on it, and a shine sprite on a billboard to say, "Hey, remember Mario Sunshine?" I do! But in the second variation, the first turn on the map, I'm still laughing. In the second variation, the first turn on the map is closed off, and you take a detour off the route into a jungle area. It's not really an entirely new stage, but the route that you take is a lot different, so I think that's kind of cool. even if you could catch glimpses of the old route in the distance. Also, the jungle section is only like 9 feet long. I actually really like the style they went for in this game and the vibes of this stage overall. It's bright, it's vibrant, it's heavily inspired by Gelato Beach, which is always a win. And then for rounds 3 and 4, all that changes are the time of day and item loadouts. In all the cups, round 4 is when you could choose whatever loadout you actually want. And that's when you first see that we're a long way from Texas. I have a lot to say about the items in this game, because they're definitely where a lot of the depth comes from, and they're also where the meta progression of this game lies, and also the pay to win. Every time you start a race, it tells you the item that you will win if you manage to come in first. And this item will actually be unlocked forever if you have a Banaport card. And when I tell you that these items are unlike anything I've seen, frying pans that lock onto opponents, melee weapons that beat the hell out of anybody near you, shells that shoot in a straight line and fucking explode, the little red dude from Dig Dug who canonically dies because you fill his ass with too much air and he bursts, and this list goes on. As a fan of the Mario series, these items were actually what excited me the most when I decided to research this game. Because what the hell am I even looking at, man? Some of them are very similar to one another, making them not worth talking about, but they all basically break up into 5 different categories. They're either lock-on items that lock on and hit your opponent to slow them down, straight line items which you have to aim like the green shell in the normal games, shoot behind items which you leave behind yourself like bananas, melee weapons which harm cars near you, and power-up items which will enhance you in some way. I'm gonna rate the vibes of every single cup just because I think it's fun. Even though it's incredibly simple, I think the Mario Cup was visually fun to look at. It's giving Crazy Taxi Sonic Adventure era of bright colors in low resolution. The vacation you would wish for as a kid, but never find as an adult. It's wonderful, so I'm gonna give the vibes here an 8 out of 10. The other super cool thing that this game adds at the end of every cup is a special challenge stage you have to beat in order to get the trophy. They're not hard or anything, but I really love single player goofy shit like this, like the Mario Kart DS single player mission mode. For this challenge, you have to do the watermelon rolling thing from Super Mario Sunshine, which I thought was a fun nod. Really easy though. Next up, we got the Donkey Kong Cup, which is significantly less of a vibe. Also, the first stage is just another circle. Come on guys, liven up! The second stage though is a lot cooler, forcing you to drive through a pyramid instead of doing the loop again. One of my favorite things about the Mario Kart games is trying to find a canon reason that shit like this exists. Like, why does Donkey Kong have a pyramid here? Is he a god according to Bandai Namco lore? What the hell is going on? Also, at the start of the stage, there's a Bandai Diddy Kong. Whoa, badass. The 2 items we see here are a tornado, which can snipe enemies and pierce to hit more than one enemy at once, and a black shell, which is basically just a green shell that explodes? Why would you want that, man? Also, the variations for rounds 3 and 4 just kinda throw you in a thunderstorm. Gonna have to put the vibes in this cup down to like a 4. Definitely somewhere I can see myself getting, I don't know, murdered or chased. Speaking of murder, by the way, the challenge in this one is to kill 15 turtles with a hammer. Don't know what the f they were cooking here, I'll be real. Next up, we got the Wario Cup, which is super cool because it takes place in Diamond City from the WarioWare games. As far as I know, it's the only time they've done a track here in the entire Mario Kart franchise, which is a shame because the WarioWare aesthetic is actually so good. The first course, you just kind of drive around the city, and then the second course, you take a detour and hit a little snow area. It's really cute. I'm gonna put the vibes here at like a 7. I would definitely move here if I could find an apartment for a decent price. But just as long as they're not racing all day, that would drive me up the wall. Imagine having work in the morning and just having to listen to this. The challenge for this cup is to just drive backwards. Must have been running dry on ideas. Next up, we have my favorite cup in the entire game, the Pac-Man Cup. Yes, I'm biased. I like Pac-Man. I think his aura is very sweet. The first stage takes place near Pac-Man's house, which is such a weird choice. I want to say that this originated in Pac-Man 2, the weird point-and-click adventure game that was like on the Super Nintendo? That would make a good video. I should play that. Then on the second stage, you're teleported into a giant Pac-Man maze-themed racetrack. The maze is only in the background, which is fair, but still looks really nice. And the challenge here is to make it to the end of a course while jumping over electric lasers. That's really fun. You can tell that Namco had a favorite. The vibes here are gonna be a 9. Pac-Man is just such a cool guy. Next up, we have a Bowser Cup, which I know, I'm a hater, but once you've seen one Bowser castle, you've kind of seen them all. The second version goes along the castle wall and it's like, I don't care. The extra variations have Kamek spawning stuff, which is kind of fun in theory, but he doesn't really change much. Hilariously, the challenge stage here is a straight up boss fight, where you have to shoot shells to knock Bowser off of this dangerous looking platform. Boy, get the hell down from there. The vibes here are gonna be like a 3. Seen it before, don't care. Moving on. So if you manage to get first place in all 4 rounds of all 5 of these cups, and win every single challenge as you go, you finally unlock the last cup in the game, which is, you guessed it, the Rainbow Cup, with its own Rainbow Road. And it's definitely the hardest stage in the game. Duh. But even for normal Mario Kart standards, these turns are straight up obtuse, or I guess acute. Both of the variations are different. One of them takes you into space, while the other one teleports you to like this weird underwater zone. Though this stage doesn't really hold a candle to the other Rainbow Roads that exist, I'm just shocked that there was a Rainbow Road stage that existed without me ever hearing about it. And now, you're seeing it too. And if this is your first time seeing it, we could share this moment together. Aww. And now for the last challenge in the game, which features a character that doesn't appear in any other Mario title ever. Robo Mario. What the hell? That's actually kind of sick. You just have to race him to the end without getting blown up by all of his weapons, which isn't so bad if you just drift constantly because you get that overpowered invulnerability shield when you do. I'm gonna have to put the vibes of this cup at like a 6. It's Rainbow Road in theory, but it doesn't really give the como se dice aura of a Rainbow Road. Still cool to look at though. And with that completed, you're done with all the content in the game. Just kidding, you unlocked special mode. And now you have to beat everything again at a much higher difficulty. Go ahead, reach into your pockets and pull out another 6 grand to beat this. I dare you. And I know you're wondering, what if I did? What if I decided that this is all I wanted to do? I refinanced my car and my house, and I decided to spend all of my money on Mario Kart Arcade GP. What do I win then, huh? Well, what if I told you that Mario Kart Arcade GP was actually pay to win? Because the items that you unlock towards the end of playing, after beating the game itself, are way better than all the other items in the game. For example, the tornado is pretty strong because it stops everyone in its tracks. You want to know what you unlock way later? The triple tornado. Yeah, you get to throw 3 of them. I'll touch on this more a little bit later, but yeah, if you grind hard enough, you start unlocking the triple variations of all the best items. This would be totally uncool if this was like a gacha title or an actual online experience, but it's not. It's an arcade game, so I guess it's the only time in history where pay to win is kind of okay. And also, for the record, you're probably never gonna have to face somebody with these items unlocked in your life. When you go to the arcade, you're kind of just there to play this game with your friends, and unless your friend is the most try-hard bastard in history, it's not going to be an issue. Overall, it's kind of hard to rate this game honestly because it is an arcade game. When you play it in an arcade, you're not sitting there looking through the meta of itemizations or staring at every single stage and variation. You kind of just play it with your friends once or twice and then leave. So as like a console game at home, if this existed for like the GameCube, this game would probably be like a 3 out of 10. But as an arcade title, I'd have to give it like an 8. Does it compare to the other Mario Kart titles? Not even close. But who cares? It doesn't have to. Next up, we have the sort of sequel, Mario Kart Arcade GP 2. I say sort of sequel because it's more of a director's cut than it is an actual sequel. They added different karts this time, so every character has an extra choice, alongside 2 new cups and also 2 entirely new characters. Waluigi and, get this, are you ready? Sit down. Actually, no, stand up so that I can tell you to sit down. Okay, now sit down. Memechi from Tamagotchi. How f***ing cute is that, man? I looked up some fun facts for this part of the video, and apparently, Memechi has a 250 IQ. I'm not trying to be judgmental, but hey, I don't see it. But that's not even the only good part. His second kart has a little dude pulling it on the front. It's just so awesome, man. I looked through the list of every single Tamagotchi character to try to find out who he is, and I think it's Chikaramochi. I could be wrong, but they look similar enough, so I'ma just go with it. If any of you actually know who it is and it's not Chikaramochi, please let me know. I actually care about this. Why did he get the bad job? Is there like a class divide in Tamagotchi that I don't know about? This game also includes different CCs, which is great for everything but your wallet. Because yes, you have to beat all the cups on every CC in order to get every trophy. The 2 bonus cups in this game are the Yoshi Cup and the Waluigi Cup. So let's just start off with the Yoshi Cup. This cup is actually one of my favorites because it shares the same art style and vibe as the Yoshi Story games, which are criminally underrated. Everything kind of looks like a pop-out cardboard cutout, and it's quite wholesome. There's different little themed houses you go through, like the House of Cake, and it's just really fun for the old eyeballs. And in Variation 2, you go into the Nightmare Zone, where you see ghosts and moving walls. Then at the end, a King Boo is seen sucking the souls of everything, including the player. Fun theme. Vibes here are going to be like an 8.5. I actually really like it. The challenge here is to collect every single coin on the track. And if you miss one, you probably fail. Yeah, it's kind of mid. Next up, we have the Waluigi Cup, which takes place in Waluigi Stadium. It's relatively unremarkable and basically just a huge circle with ramps in the way. It's fun to jump, but beyond that, it's just kind of alright. The variation just makes you go on a route that's above the track, but it doesn't change things very much. So I'm going to put the vibes here at like a 3. But the challenge in this cup is to jump a certain distance, and it even does this little slow-mo sideways camera angle, which I find to be kind of hilarious. So I'm gonna bump those vibes up to like a 4.5 because I really like this challenge. Since beyond those 2 very minor changes, it's basically the same game as the first one, I'll give this one an 8.3 because it has Memechi in it, and it has the cool Yoshi Cup. Actually, an 8.2 because it has the Waluigi Cup in it, and that one's kind of ass. Nah, 8.25 because I like the jumping minigame. Alright, 8.25, final score. And now it's time for the next game. Mario Kart Arcade GP DX. Yeah, it's a mouthful. I have absolutely no idea why they used DX here, especially when GP2 felt more like a director's cut, whereas this one is a full sequel and should be called 2. But I digress. Mario Kart Arcade GP DX. Okay, let's just say DX. DX is actually a much more modern version of these games. The jump on this one is like going from Mario Kart Double Dash on the GameCube all the way over to Mario Kart 7, which makes sense because they're 8 years apart. The game's roster is almost 2 times bigger than the previous titles, featuring new racers like Bowser Jr., Rosalina, Lakitu, a horrifying version of King Boo, and Metal Mario. However, the most important addition to the roster is actually Don-chan from Taiko no Tatsujin. I'm not trying to be a hater, okay? I'm sorry for the truth that I'm about to drop, but why Don-chan? Hey everyone, while shooting this, I kind of realized they're using Don-chan because it's an arcade game, and Taiko no Tatsujin is a very big game in all arcades, so they probably did it as like a cross-promotion kind of thing. It makes sense now that you think about it, right? Let's move on. He does have a cute little strawberry outfit though, so I guess he's fine. On that note, there are specific skins in this game that are unlockable by scanning QR codes on their website. And all of the skins have their own unique item that only they can use. Like Dry Bowser can use a bone hammer, which is functionally the same as a normal hammer. but it looks cool. Another absolutely major upgrade in this game is the addition of an actual kart system. There are actually selectable karts, all which have their own stats which you can pair with your selected driver to create a style that works for you. You unlock these karts alongside the items and some of the characters by just playing a bunch, earning coins and then pulling on the Yoshi Egg Gacha machine. Karts are broken up by rarities, with the rarest karts also being the best by a long shot. The drifting in this one functions like the usual games, where the longer you hold it, the stronger it charges, but it also keeps that weird shielding mechanic from the previous games. The controls are just a lot more modern and feel better, and there's somehow even more f***ing items in this one. Like, holy shit, what is that? Since this game came out after Mario Kart 7, it took some inspiration and included gliders and actual underwater segments. None of that fake underwater stuff from the old Rainbow Road. Grow up, man. Unlike the other two titles, DX also had major updates through patches which would add characters, items, or cups entirely. Most recently adding the Pac-Man Cup and the Donkey Kong Cup. Though a lot of the cups are similar to the earlier games, the stages themselves are now modernized to accommodate for the new mechanics. Even though they are the same tracks, they don't look or even feel like them at all. Like, it took me a while to even notice. For example, in the Mario Cup, instead of taking a minor detour to go on the beach in that weird jungle path, now you go into a sunken pirate ship and drive underwater. It looks so good that I almost forgot I have a phobia of drowning. Oh, I said almost. I'll quickly go over the cups we already saw and talk about how they're upgraded because I think they're neat. DK Jungle is much cooler this time around. There's a lot more life in every turn, including this section with falling pillars and this section with minecarts. Absolutely peak and an upgrade in every single way. And the Bowser Cup is, well, just another Bowser Cup, man. There's one more that we'll get to in a second, but beyond that, there's 3 more entirely new cups added into this game. The Toad Cup, the Taiko no Tatsujin Cup, and the Bowser Jr. Cup. And I know what you're thinking, who the hell let these dork-ass loser nobodies have their own cup? And honestly, you said it, not me. So we're gonna go in the order that they appear. The Toad Cup has you drive around Peach's castle. Like all the other stages in this game, it's just fun to look at. There's even weird cardboard cutouts inside, which kind of feel like a callback to the Yoshi Cup that didn't make it into this one, so that's fun. But the second version of the stage doesn't even let you go in the castle. You just kind of drive near it, which is such a weird choice. I give the vibes here like a 6. It would be a 7, but some of these mushrooms are just way too hyper realistic, man. The Taiko no Tatsujin Cup takes place at a festival, which is really fun to stare at. The second Taiko no Tatsujin Cup stage takes place during the day and actually has you go underwater and into the game itself, which I think just looks so much better. Overall, the vibes on this cup are a 7 or a 3, depending on which stage you play. And if you're wondering where the challenge stages are that were in the older games, they removed them for some reason. I hate that a lot. And finally, we have the Bowser Jr. Cup, which takes place across multiple aerial battleships. It's one of the best looking stages in the game and feels somewhat refreshing to look at, since normally airships aren't my vibe. There isn't too much of a difference between the first and the second, besides driving through like an engine room or something. But still, it's really fun to look at, so I'm gonna give it a 7.5. And finally, let's talk about the Namco Cup, which is a complete overhaul. Instead of taking place in Pac-Man's village, it now takes place in Namco Stadium, which has life breathed into every single inch of it. There's boost tracks, 8-bit sprites of characters floating around, billboards of other popular Namco classics, and even full-blown arcade machines in the background. Then, when you get teleported into the Pac-Man game, there's a maze in the sky like before, alongside Galaga ships just floating around and doing their thing. Also, the audience here is ghosts, so maybe that's why Blinky ain't in this one. He's probably watching. The second variation is more of the same, but I can't really blame them. This was very clearly the stage that they worked the hardest on in the entire game, and honestly, I wonder why. Vibes, solid 9.5. It's beautiful. It really just is beautiful. Now, I know what you're about to ask, and I'll say it for you, my dear viewer. Where's the Rainbow Road? Well, bad news, bud. There is no special cup in this one. And honestly, can you blame them? The other Rainbow Road has probably only been seen by like 4 people ever. Making something only unlockable in a machine that requires people to spend a ton of money to even see it sounds like a waste of energy. And I personally think that having everything playable at the start is a much better format for arcade machines. The meta progression still exists in this game though. There are over 100 items to unlock this time around, but not only that, you can also unlock powered up versions of almost every single item. And beyond those, there's also the triple items that you could unlock way later like the other ones. So I'm happy to say that the pay to win mechanic is still here. As an arcade title, I give this game like a 9.5. It is always so fun to drink a couple of beers with your boys or your girlfriend and then go sit at Mario Kart Arcade GP DX and race for who's buying the next round. I absolutely love this as an arcade title, and I think it's very fun to see what other companies can do with the Mario IP, even though we're never gonna see that again. YouTube thinks you're gonna like this video, so go ahead and check it out, because it's good. All my videos are good. Okay, most of them. All right, some of them. I hope you enjoy. Bye-bye.